looked at overall with all the challenges that all South Africans know about and which we have been talking about for quite a while now, do you regard this performance as a good one under the circumstances?
We could have done better, I think, always. But if one considers that we collected 1.5 trillion, 1.57 trillion, which is an 8% year-on-year, and our refunds were over 20% up year-on-year, those are good news stories. And the fact that we managed to refund that 287 billion that you referenced, I think those are good news stories for the economy, in that we've expedited refunds and ensured they get back into the pockets of the people who are in business, that we don't compromise their survival as such. So we're very gratified we could do that. However, not achieving the target by 14.5 billion, that is obviously, it hurts, and we are concerned that we didn't, and there are certain things which we need to do in the future to ensure that we do meet the targets put to us by government. We're facing a target of 1,422 billion for the coming year. That's a significant ask. We need to make sure that we have all hands on deck, number one, but number two, that we work smartly. And deal with the taxpayers out there in a proper, professional way to collect the revenue.
Well, with the benefit of hindsight, what could you have done better?
Well, you know, an audit takes a long period of time. Disputes take a long period of time. So this is a pipeline that we need to ensure is operating optimally, and that is something that we need to do. Establishing the large business centre today, that's an important aspect of fixing it. That we could have done earlier, maybe. The illicit economy unit, people are talking about the 8 billion we so-called losing in the tobacco industry. Maybe we could have done far more there to collect revenue. So there are things that I look back and say, why didn't we start earlier, etc. But, you know, the benefit of hindsight. But there are great opportunities as the new commissioner comes in on the 1st of May for us to take the organisation forward.
Answer that question, if you will. I mean, why couldn't you start earlier?
Well, I think you must remember I was appointed on the 1st the 19th of March to be exact. So really, for this financial year, I've been in position. Much of last year had to do with the Nugent Commission, and finding out certain things and understanding the organisation doesn't allow you to act immediately in terms of things. So you need to get a better understanding of the organisation. But I do believe we've laid the foundation for us to go forward.
You spoke also earlier about the caliber of people that SARS has, talent which was obviously affected adversely by some of the things that have happened in recent years. Do you believe that the professionals, that are working at SARS now have now regained their confidence and will be able to take the institution back to its glory days?
I think, let's say we're in the process of. Confidence gets destroyed with many things, and where you're negatively in the media over a prolonged period of time, it does erode one's confidence in dealing with matters. But I think we've done taken significant steps in the last year, but I believe there is still a process underway that we need to ensure we've got a culture of absolute professionalism in the tax authorities' staff.
Well, you said something interesting. We're going to try and play this bite where you're talking about how your teams, the attacks that they have come under recently. Let's just take a listen.
Security. If I may just say, people in our teams are being threatened. And I need to acknowledge the staff that it's a tough job dealing with tax criminality. And they need every support of the country in rooting out non-compliance, which is simply there to deprive the fisc.
Well, that will no doubt, affect, the people and probably, discourage them from doing what they are supposed to do. The question, I guess, is what are you doing about it? Have you got the state law enforcement agencies to look into these matters?
We obviously have processes underway in that regard. We will protect our staff at every instance, but we've got good staff. They rise to the occasion. They are here to do their job. They're here to apply the law without fear and favour, and they will do it. It won't take them off the task that's at hand. So I've got every confidence that we'll win through.
But who are these people? I'm not talking about names here, but sure. What kinds of people go and harass and threaten, SARS officials?
Well, as soon as you start tackling people in their pocket, a certain behaviour where they're not used to it. Let's say they've got away with it for years, that they haven't had to pay tax. And suddenly you start challenging them and you suddenly start taking assets, etc. People's behaviour changes. Touch a person's pocket, you get a person's true behaviour coming to the fore, and that is very much the case that we are seeing. I can't give more details, obviously, for you at this point in time. But, by the way, tax threats are not new. We've had this over many, many years. If you go back, and I've been at the organisation for many years, we've had very, very serious threats in the many years that I've been at SARS to our staff at different times. I've never been threatened, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, the new SARS boss was announced last week. What kind of an organization do you think he will inherit?
I think he's inheriting an organization that has got a good foundation, that is on the right path in some areas. It needs to still be, the Titanic needs to still turn around, or the ship needs to still be turned around away from certain dangers that are ahead. But I think we've put in place many good things which he can take forward, but we're going to be there to support him in that process.
Mm-hmm. But you don't think that, as a person who has been there for about a year, right? You said earlier that there are things you could have done, a lot earlier. How have you ensured that, when he comes, he won't have to, take as much time to fix some of the problem as you have had to?
Well,
given what you know now.
When I got there was no guide to what I was inheriting. I came to an organisation I needed to learn. I was obviously in the organisation, but did not know the nuances of the Commissioner's job at that point in time. I'm going to be working very closely with Mr. Kieswetter to ensure that he doesn't have to go and find things that I've already found. And I will be engaging with him. I've already been engaging with him. I'll continue. And we believe that he will be put on a good footing to take it forward.
Just on the strike, NAHAU still saying that they are not accepting the offer that the PSA has accepted. Where to from here? What's going to happen?
Well, obviously we would continue to see how we engage, but we will be implementing insofar as the Public Service Association members are concerned. I think it's an ongoing engagement. I never close the door in terms of engagement. We always talk. We've met quite a few times over the last week trying to find a way ahead. I think let's watch the space. I can't commit beyond that at this point in time.
Before I let you go, there were reports this morning about your head of IT, that she is sitting at home and not doing anything. What's happening there?
Well, I think as you're well aware, our staff matters are confidential. We do not disclose in the public in terms of any of our staff what we're doing or not doing. All I can show you, we are applying our minds to the process and engaging with her. I'm not going beyond that at this point in time. I can't. It would be unfair to her.
But it's a public institution, though, that
yes,
you're leading. I think it's in the interest of the South African public to know what actually happened. Has she been implicated in any wrongdoing?
I understand your view that it's a public institution, but it does not take away from her rights as an individual employee who's got certain rights that we need to uphold and protect. We are engaging, and I can assure you that. And I think you know the matters at hand relating to her. I don't want to go in beyond that.
Well, I don't know the matters.
Well, I think if you go back to certain aspects that happened in October of last year, I think it was on the 17th of October, and her various aspects, let me not go beyond that, that happened in terms of a TV show. We came into a lot of criticism about that matter, and those are the matters that are being talked about in terms of the media engagement today.
Are you looking into the issue of her qualifications and experience?
I think that would be going beyond in terms of what I feel comfortable sharing here.